We're excited to share with you our 14 teardrop trailer tips and tricks that not only can you get out and do immediately, they'll also make you a happier camper down the road. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Playing with Sticks. If you're new to the channel, I'm Drew. We take out small camper trailers as a family and just share some of the tips and tricks we've learned along the way, ultimately trying to inspire you to pursue a more simple life, to give you more time to enjoy the big world around you. So let's get right into these 14 teardrop trailer tips and tricks. We're pretty sure most of these tips come right out of the Tiny Yellow Teardrop blog. So we'll share a little bit more about the website along the way, but here's number 14. All right, number 14. Christina shares a lot of different ways to hide valuables, either in your teardrop or hiding them in your car. The one we really liked was making a secret pocket inside your curtains. So all of you have either made curtains or are about to make curtains for your teardrop, and so why making them? Why not sew that little pocket in there to hide some of those valuables? Tip number 13. I think one of the things that drew us to the Tiny Yellow Teardrop blog was that Christina's yellow teardrop was very simple like ours in that it did not have running water. And so what she does, what she calls her faucet, is she uses a slim line clear jug from Walmart. The beauty of these are they're small profile, so they fit anywhere in a teardrop, and they're clear so you know at all times how much water you've had. She also explains in the blog other people's setups for water. Many of them are using hand pumps to get that pressure, which is a pretty neat tip in itself. Hold on, quick time out. I love these little tips and tricks, and I know you do too, and you're gonna get more ideas as you're watching this. So please share your own ideas in the comments below of tips and hacks that you use along the road. Tip number 12, magnetic hooks. Magnetic hooks are affordable, can be picked up at any box store, and the Tiny Yellow Teardrop uses these for hanging everything at the campsite. You can put these on your cargo box, you can put them on the bare trash cans, hang up your swimsuit, hang up your towels, use it for holding cooking utensils, things like that. Quick, easy hack to do. Tip number 11. So what do you do when your pop-up shower tent is getting mud on the bottom from all your showers? Well, the Tiny Yellow Teardrop built themselves a shower platform. They built it out of redwood. You can pick these up at Amazon, lay them down, and you have the comfort of a home shower without getting your feet muddy. Christina also uses a plastic drip pan from the bottom of a hot water heater for catching the excess water. Tip number 10. If you have a teardrop, it can easily be converted into a bug-out trailer. If you don't know what a bug-out trailer is, Google it after this, but basically it's using your trailer to survive the zombie apocalypse. If you have a trailer that is in hurricane country, tornado country, like us, we just had the 7.2 earthquake, make sure your teardrop is filled at all times with non-perishable food, extra clothes, extra bedding. You have the battery topped off. For us, we keep a generator with fuel in it, with some additive in the fuel so we don't get too much moisture, so at any time we can get out there. But basically, if we were to have another earthquake here, we could get out of this home into this teardrop and survive until more help is able to come. Tip number 9, bringing dry ice to keep your items cold if you're going for a week or longer in your teardrop. Dry ice is going to make it so you don't have to run back to the store, but be careful, dry ice does put off deadly CO2, so don't store it inside your teardrop or car if you're staying in there for long periods of time. Tip number 8, so you can go out like we did and buy leveling blocks for leveling your teardrop, or you can do what the Tiny Yellow Teardrop did and just bring 2 pieces of wood, a basic 2x6, maybe a 2x8, stick them under the wheels and you can get them to the right balance because a teardrop's pretty small and it doesn't take a lot. We've also heard tips about bringing pieces of wood like this too to balance out your camp table. Here's a tip between tip 8 and 7 that we found on the Tiny Yellow Teardrop. Can you get insurance for your teardrop? The answer is yes. Check out the blog to see more information about it. Tip number 7, the scrubba wash bag. So the scrubba wash bag is something we heard about in the comment section of the Tiny Yellow Teardrop, and it was from an avid follower who sent us to the website, and it's a bag made in New Zealand, and you throw your clothes in it, seal it up, and kind of put some pressure on the clothes and you can wash in the field. Well, basically all that is a dry bag. Take a dry bag, throw some clothes in there, wash it on a rock. We'll try to make a video this summer and show you the results. Tip number 6. Do you all wish you had a place to store those wet and muddy shoes? Well, if you don't have a spot, the easiest thing is just take a container like a Rubbermaid with a sealed top, put your shoes on that and shove it under your teardrop. But from Christina's blog, what we learned is you can take a cement mixing container, add some U-bars to it, some channel bars, and then you can take that container, mount those channel bars to the bottom of your frame of your teardrop, and that container can slide in and out with your shoes, and then you just remove it when you get on the road. So a neat little solution to get it out of the way and easily pull it out. So a quick pause to talk about the tinyyellowteardrop.blogspot.com. It's a great site. It's what got us into teardropping. She has so many posts. I love her Friday teardrop photos. I love her conversations with local teardrop builders, individuals. She's talking about gatherings. She's an expert. She gets out there all the time. She's taking beautiful photos. She really inspires people to get out there, and she gives a lot of tips. Like these 14 are just, she has thousands in there. So go check out her blog after this video. Share with her the things you're doing. Inspire her to keep going in that blog. Tip number 5, where to store your cooler. That's kind of a struggle. Coolers are big. Do you throw them in the car? You don't want to fit it in the teardrop and pull it in and out. The obvious spot, and this is where Christina stores hers, is on the tongue of your teardrop. Now, if you're afraid of bears and other animals, make sure your cooler is a bear-proof cooler. For people like us in Alaska or you in Yellowstone or up in Glacier National Park, they'll probably make you move that cooler inside to your car, just rules you have to follow, but it's a pretty good little tip. Tip number 4, Cool Tears magazine. If you haven't checked this magazine out, it's an incredible resource for teardrop owners. We first discovered this on the Tiny Yellow Teardrop, and the name of the magazine is actually Cool Tears Tiny Campers Magazine. When Cool Tears was first published in 2013, it was a bi-monthly magazine, but because of teardrop enthusiasts like you and me and the just need for more information, it has become a monthly publication. And best of all, it's free. You can download a copy of the magazine, or you can try the flip view, or you can even get a copy of the magazine, but at a cost. And if you're late to the game, don't worry, you can go back and look at backlogged issues. If you are interested in attending your first teardrop gathering, which we have never done and we would love to do, not only do they have gatherings in this magazine for domestic gatherings here in the States, there's also gatherings all over the world around teardrops because you guys love these things. If you dig through these articles, many of you are going to recognize faces from the teardrop community. Mandy Lee Photo is one that I just love, and all of you probably do too. I assume Cosmo Weems is on here with his Vistable trailer. Tip number 3, I actually think I have like 4 or 5 tips left, but let's just call it tip number 3. So tip number 3, how do you store your ice in your cooler, keep it clean, keep it separated from other food items so they don't get waterlogged? Simple. Put your ice in Rubbermaid containers or little glass containers, some sort of clear container, and then put the food around it. And why they do this in Christina's family is that at the end of the night, you still have clean ice so you can use it for beverages. Over the years, she's kind of changed her way of doing this, and she actually does it the other way. She's now putting her food in the containers and the ice on the outside, but just make sure you're separating the two. This leads me into another neat tip of hers. Christina is always mentioning what to purchase fellow teardrop owners for Christmas or for gifts. And one of the main gifts that she really loves is reflectix. If you don't know what reflectix is, it's basically reflective bubble wrap. And she uses it to line her cooler to keep in the temperature, to keep it cold. She uses it to line the bottom of her tent. If you look into the RV world, people are using them everywhere to insulate their RVs, and there's so many uses to this nice gift for your fellow teardrop enthusiast. Tip number 2, the waste basket. So the first couple seasons we took our teardrop out, we just tied a plastic bag to the tongue of our trailer. And it was a pain in the butt. You're always having to open it up. When you throw sloppy things in there, it gets all over the edges of it. This one's simple. Maybe you're all doing it, but pick up one of those Lowe's laundry bag collapsible baskets. You can pick these up at the dollar store, at Home Depot. Open it up. You have this lightweight basket. Throw a rock in the bottom of it so the wind doesn't blow it away. At the end of the day, you collapse it and it's easy storage for a tiny spot like a teardrop. Tip number 1, well, I think there's a couple more to come, but tip number 1 would be when we are in our teardrop, we sleep in the sun because it's Alaska. And every year the fall comes around and darkness sets in and it's like we don't know what we're doing. And I come home every weekend with black and blue marks on my shins, on my legs from running into the tongue of the trailer. So on the blog, I noticed sticking reflective tape and sticking glow-in-the-dark tape on your steps. That's what people do with RVs. Well, use the same stuff, put it on the tongue of your trailer, put it on the hitch of your car. Anything you're bumping into consistently like us, throw some glow-in-the-dark on there and save yourself some pain. Okay, here's a few more bonus random tips for you. Number 1, Velcro is your friend. For us, we use Velcro to Velcro back our curtains. Here in the 24-hour sun, that sun is always peeking through. Put some Velcro on the curtain, on the edge of the teardrop, and it's sealed. I don't know if any of you have seen the pantyhose soap holder idea. Google pantyhose soap holder, you might like that one too. When you're storing your items, make sure you buy clear bins instead of solid bins because it's great to see what's in them. Have you seen other people putting their propane tanks inside a milk crate? You stick it in a milk crate so it doesn't easily get tipped over. So when you're taking your propane out into the campground to use for your stoves or lighting your fire, it's a great little tip. Another little tip, very simple, is buying those shower caps. My grandma used to use them to keep her hair all nice. And you use them to cover your muddy shoes when you're about to take them home. Anything that's muddy, you just throw the shower cap and it kind of seals around it and it keeps your other stuff from getting contaminated with the dirt as well. So what do you do next? I'd say check out some more of our teardrop videos, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks everyone, see ya. We're coming out with a video in 2 weeks as usual.